There we go. Alright. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Is everything working, or do I need to make some adjustments? As I'm not sure if this thing is fully back up to date now. Alright, wonderful. Well, welcome in, everybody. Ramazine, I'm hoping that it is a good thing that they held off on letting you test drive that. So hopefully when you go down there and everything is new and fresh, you won't have anything to worry with. It has been a while. Welcome in there, Thunder. I hope you're doing alright tonight, or in your case, this very early morning. Oh, okay. I completely understand the precaution there. But, alright, so, we've got a little bit of catching up to do, don't we? So yeah, it has been a little bit. Things are moving in a fun way. Well, hopefully I can either help lull you to sleep there, Thunder, or at the very least, I can give you some entertainment to start your day. But let's see. So the last time we streamed, we were still talking about the Ren Fair, and things of that nature. Which again, it was an absolute blast. I can't wait to go back and do it again. But things are moving a little bit here at the house, so I have been rather busy going back and forth, helping friends out, and doing what we can to prep the house. So slowly but surely, we're getting things going. I mean, fair. I very much hope so as well. I might wind up being there with my brother. We will see. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I have an interest, and we'll see if they wind up doing a good job, or if it's just going to be a night market LARPing as a Ren Fair. I mean, either way, it's an excuse to get out of the house, right? But, alright. So, I guess we will showcase a little bit of the things that have come in here recently. Tonight we will be finishing our Plague Doctor Dice Tower, as we have almost got it done. There are a few spots on it that I can see just because I'm staring at it and I know I'm the one who painted it. There are a few spots here and there that need a touch up, and a few extra things we're going to do to kind of blend and bring it together, and then we'll do a little bit of messing around with the base. And once that is done, we will glue him up and get him finished. But we have... I was very excited about this because I ordered it a while ago and it finally came in. So the necklace and ring that I painted up before the Ren Fair, they'd held up incredibly well, bouncing around at the Ren Fair all day. There's only a couple of spots that I see where they just got a little bit of the paint rubbed off of it, so beautiful little bit of touch-up that I get to do on that, and then we'll hit that with a different clear coat than the one I use. We'll use enamel clear coat on that one. But what I was super excited for, because I ordered it around the same time, but the gentleman who printed it told me that his printer went down right after after I got the order in, was it is a full themed dice carrier that, once fully put together, which it would help if I put it in the correct way. Let's see, it is like I said, it is made by the same maker as those two pieces, but it is a completely themed dice vault in the form of a black dragon using its breath weapon. And it is way bigger than I was expecting it to be. So that is something that I am very excited to get started and work on. Because we are going to paint this up exactly the same way that we painted, the necklace and the ring. So we'll get that painted up, and then I have some magnets coming in tomorrow that will fit in these grooves that are already pre-placed inside of the dice vault, so that I can actually set it down and wholeheartedly use it as a dice vault with full magnetic secure. So that is something I'm very happy and looking forward to painting. So of course we have to finish our current project in order to get the new one. Let's not throw all of that on the floor if I can avoid that. But again, these are just fantastic prints. The individual was absolutely fantastic to talk to. Not sponsored, but his name on Etsy is Hammerdown Prints. If you have any interest, he has quite a few rather interesting things on his site. This being one of them, as well as the ring and the necklace. A little bit, yeah, I could see that. Welcome in, Techie. I hope you're doing well. I hope tonight is treating you well. Another little print that I had come in was this evil little critter. And, yeah, we're going to really kind of torment my players when they get back to actually running around, because this is exactly what you think it is. A nice ecstatic this evening. We will happily take that. Oh, it would be fun if I could ride this, but no, this would probably be more akin to eating the party members. But this is also now happily on the docket to be painted, and the greater of the two evils that this is a part of is supposed to be delivered on Wednesday. So we will happily showcase that. Welcome in, Porsche. I hope you're doing well tonight. Let's see, what else did we have come in that I'm absolutely going to torment people with? And, well, in less tormenting news, I did get this wonderful, nice new cloak jacket. It is a Loki-inspired Norse jacket. It is incredibly comfortable. And I also had some yokai friends finally arrive. So these, if you do not know, are known as pipe foxes. They are wonderful little yokai critters, typically used as familiars by onmyoji and sorcerers for the yokai arts. And these little boogers are completely posable and very well handcrafted. And they will be now a wonderful part of stream and joining me for, good luck and shenanigans. So these guys, I ordered them off of, what was his name? Again, not sponsored, but I believe his name was Fatoe Fuego Art. He is on Instagram. He has his own website. And he makes a bunch of yokai posable art dolls. And I saw these guys in his pre-order tab, and I saved up enough to be able to order them. And they are fantastic. They did take a little while to get here, because I believe I ordered these guys back in February. And they only just got here, but apparently the post he made them, or posted with them, went viral. So he was very much put behind in the amount of orders he received for these wonderful little creatures. And I very much he was very prompt when I sent him a message asking him, just for updates and things like that. But he has a whole wide range of yokai on his site. If any of you are following my Instagram, I know I reposted the Kudagitsune that they are. If you find that post and click on it, it will actually take you to his website so that you can order either your own or you could get something completely different. Because like I said, he has a wonderful wide variety and they are just absolutely wonderfully made. I've been walking around the house with them tucked away into this new cloak quite a bit. I completely understand, Porsche. I hope the book you're reading is absolutely wonderful, because you can't ever go wrong with a good book. But, yeah, so that was one thing that came in. I did also get a few more figures to paint, which are my two favorite Djinn types, which are the Ifrit. If you know anything about some of the things I've painted, I am a sucker for anything in the Underdark, and I am a sucker for anything Arabian themed. And I've been waiting to find someone selling these exact two, because I already have a couple of them that I painted years ago. But then they went out of stock, and I couldn't find them again, and I wanted to get a couple more. I finally found them again, so happily threw that into the cart. Ooh, Magic and Pirates. Now that is a wonderful combination. I love the sound of that. While I was also perusing the interwebs, because apparently I can't stop, and knowing that soon I will be turning the living room into the full D&D hideaway, I found, apparently this was a Comic-Con exclusive Black Dragon Wormling with a egg clutch. So I was able to procure them without having to go to a Comic Con, but someone was willing to part with these, and I very much appreciate that they did, because I do have the ones that I have painted, but I did not have the official one, and this is apparently the new 2024 artwork for the new Wormling, which I very much enjoy the redesign of the dragons that are taking place in the 2024 edition. And after being constantly out of stock with this, we have probably the most interesting dragon that I have found in any Dragon magazine, Dungeons and Dragons book. But ironically, this only ever appeared in a Dragon magazine, and officially does not have a stat block for 5th edition or really any edition. But it was mentioned, and for some reason, they made a absolutely gorgeous mini of a time dragon. And once I saw it, I could not resist. And of course, I had to get it. And I do love if you can see it, I don't know if my camera's picking it up well, but they have a very beautiful shimmering pattern within their wings. But these guys are never meant to be fought, because they are really weird in the sense that they exist outside of time. And if you attempt to attack them, they will either steal time away from you with their breath weapon, or they'll cast you either backwards or forward into time. And now you're no longer their problem. So I very happily found that this was on sale, and I nabbed it before it went out of stock again. Which was I absolutely love this little guy, but honestly, the best thing that I have gotten... No, unfortunately, I can't use this one to terrorize the group. However, I can make this one the storyteller. So basically, I kind of more or less bought this so that he can sit on top of my DM screen to act as the facilitator of the adventure. So yeah, in a way, they can be perceived, but there's never more than like 5 of them in existence at one time. And apparently they are the only dragon that is truly immortal. In the sense that if it dies, it will essentially just cast itself back in time to prevent itself from ever dying, or just move itself back into a spot in time where it's never in danger. So again, these are never really meant to be fought. These are just kind of meant to either be a cosmic entity you could run into, or essentially just I'm going to use him as a set piece that this represents the DM. So this will be me when we run our games from now on. And he will happily sit on top of my DM screen to be essentially the storyteller of the fun and folly that the group gets up to. I was very happy to get my hands on this because it has been out of stock for over a year, and I was finally able to get it not only when it was back in stock, but when it was on sale. Now, there is one final one, but I can't really count this one as a mini. And the reason for that is I will have a unpainted mini sitting here where you can see it for scale. That is your standard player character model, right? This no longer gets to be classified as a mini. This is classified as a piece of environment. This is Avaturis, arguably one of the few named dragons that I absolutely love. Oh yeah, no, so this is not doing it justice at all, so let me see if I can angle the camera here a little bit. Nope, wrong direction. Let's go this way with it. So yeah, this thing takes up literally a good third of my table. This is no longer a miniature. This borders on statue and environmental piece. This is Avaturis, or you can also look her name up under Ice Claws. She is an ancient white dragon that specifically lives in the Ice Peak off of the Sword Coast in Faerun. And the rider on her back is actually a wizard that once enslaved her and did experiments on her. But he died of natural causes, and for whatever reason, he gave his dragon Stockholm Syndrome because she wound up enjoying his company. But but one of her monikers is Old Ice Claws, which is a whole lot easier to say and a whole lot easier to spell as opposed to her actual name. But let's see, her name is actually emblazoned here on the bottom of her base. ARVE. Here, I'll just drop this in chat here. AR. If I can not knock everything over here. There we go. That is her name. Arveaturis. Or Arvaturis. Not sure, did not pass my draconic language classes very well. But yeah, she is my hand for scale here, barely, like, my hand barely can fit over her base. Is just how insane this quote-unquote mini is. So yeah, this is now happily going to be one of the crown jewels that will sit on my display case, which you can actually see right here behind me. Once I am able to get the living room set up completely, she will have a nice little place of honor within the... He did not feed her. He literally just kind of tamed her and gave her the... Now, she still hunts on her own. In fact, one of the abilities he wound up experimenting and giving her was the ability of Awaken from Afar. So if she recognizes the magic item that you have on you, she can activate it whether it's in her possession or not. He originally gave her that ability to help him in combat because he essentially used her as a combat steed. But she also has the ability to detect magic items at will, and as long as she understands what magic item you have, she can activate it in your pocket. So, that wonderful one to fireball you were hoping to save against the ice dragon would be such a shame if she caused that, 8-round nuke to go off in your pocket at your feet, now wouldn't it? She is a beautifully busted dragon, but that is a running theme with almost all named Faerun dragons. If you have a name and you live to even be an adult, you are something special. There you go, Porsche. Yeah, she is a very interesting read. Ah, ads. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, it is. She is an interesting dragon, but she's also kind of tragic in the sense that her rider is dead and he died of natural causes, but the magic that he used on himself and on his saddle essentially keep his body somewhat preserved. So she's literally flying around with a corpse that looks like a lich, and she talks to it as if it's an old friend. In fact, she stormed Candlekeep because she heard tale that a wizard had written a bad report on the wizard on her back. She stormed Candlekeep and ripped the roof off and kidnapped said writer of that article and terrorized him for a month and then sent him back to Candlekeep, where he amended his previous statements. So yeah, she is an interesting and tragic dragon, and which makes me love her story all the more. So thus, yes, I very happily wish to include her at some point, along with all of the other dragons that I now seem to be in possession of. Welcome back there, Porsche. But yeah, she is kind of a tragic figure due to what she has endured, and I kind of like the story. Oh, do you? Yeah, I know there's Ebondeath is one of them, and he is a interesting dragon that I love, but I actually prefer Dueg. How do you pronounce his name? Duegatharth. He is the one of the oldest black dragon Dracoliches in Faerun and is arguably the most powerful creature on the in the world of Toril. Mostly because he just so happens to be a favorite of Mystra, on top of being an ageless black dragon Dracolich, or as Landon was saying earlier today, a dragon lick, that spent his entire name, or his entire time, experimenting and creating new spells. But I would love to see some of those that you have, Porsches. I never got into Magic, but I can respect the D&D crossover. And I had a few friends who got really big into it. I never could get myself into the card games. I was lucky enough to get into Gwent. And as you can see, my tism lies in painting and playing with, toys. I guess one could say, as opposed to the cardboard. But I love seeing the artwork that people come up with for those cardboard pieces, because a lot of those artists do an absolutely fantastic job of bringing those characters and or creatures to life. Okay. Okay, hell yeah. I would love to see that if you get the chance to there, Porsche. That would be amazing to see. All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started here and try to finish off this dice tower because I absolutely love how this has turned out so far. So let's see if we can finish this off. But I'm very happy to be back. I know it has been a little while, but I have been quite busy the past few weeks, attempting to get things done, and also my insomnia has continually paid me a visit. I definitely agree. It's just because I'm very weird and my partial color blindness prevents me from really seeing a lot of these colors very well. I'm basically just layering things until I'm happy with it. Though most of it is going to wind up being fairly matte until I hit it with the enamel clear coat, which will give it that unique kind of glossy finish to it. But also, this not being fully faceted or printed to look faceted is also kind of a factor in that. But considering that this was just the first coat of paint that I threw on it, it has actually turned out incredibly well. Oh, Emerith. Okay, so Emerith is actually. So Emerith ranks as my second favorite named dragon. I love the idea of a dragon. Well, I guess I don't know. I'm weird because Duagatharth technically counts as Dracolich, not so much a dragon anymore. But I know some people will get a little pedantic with me about that. So, Emerith is one of my favorite named dragons that's actually still a dragon. And it's simply just because, one, again, I'm a sucker for desert settings. I don't think we have enough of them in D&D, which is why one of my campaigns I run my own. But Emerith is actually in my game currently. Though I don't think my players have made that full connection that it's her just yet. Which, Ramesine, ignore what I'm saying. But yeah, Emerith is an amazing dragon with a wonderful story behind her. Aventurus, of course, is another one of my favorites. Voragamanthar is by far my favorite if we're just going off of dragons. And then, the Dracoliches, the Creeping Doom, that is Duagatharth is he is by far my favorite just because of how overpowered and broken he seems to be. followed very close behind by Ebon Death, just because I'm a sucker for evil dragons that have wonderful long-term machinations. Well, therein lies the interesting part of it. There, Ramesine. The time, like I mentioned, the time ones don't actually have a stat block. Like Aventurus has one. Like all of the other named ones that I've mentioned so far do actually have a stat block. But time dragons were literally mentioned one time, and one time only, in a single issue of Dragon Magazine, and they themselves were almost mentioned in passing, which I think is criminally underrated, especially considering that the artwork for them was fantastic. Welcome in there, Cozy. I hope you're doing all right tonight. How is the Ool? Okay, I definitely will. I will happily check into that after stream there, Porsche. I greatly appreciate that. But yeah, I'm a sucker for dragons, especially those that have unique artwork and unique abilities. Time dragons being so unique and rare, and the fact that they were quite literally ignored and have continued to be ignored by the greater D&D populace, as well as the you know, game runners themselves and game designers. Like I said, they mentioned it in passing in a single issue of Dragon Magazine, and then they have never brought it back up again. However, they have such a wonderful mini based off of that amazing artwork that they created for it, but they've done absolutely nothing with it. They've never come out with a stat block. They've never come out with more than just the little blurb about its esoteric abilities. And they basically didn't even give us adventure hooks for it. They were just like, yeah, these things exist. There is more than one of them. Have fun. There's hundreds of thousands of ways that I could think of to incorporate one into a campaign. It's just what, like, the even with the information we are given, they're basically said, yeah, you can't fight these things. No matter what you do, you cannot fight it, because it would much rather just deal with you either at a later time to where the conflict no longer matters, or they're just going to send you away in a point of time where you no longer can harass them, which is both a hilarious and beautiful thing at the same time. Because, I mean, I have never seen a creature that does anything similar. Oh, I'm right there with you there, Porsche. As a child, I grew up reading the Dragonology books. I grew up reading and consuming any and all fantasy material that I could find that had anything to do with dragons, from, the King Arthur legends to Aragon. Like anything I could get that had anything to do with dragons, I was all over it. I mean, you're not entirely wrong there, Ramesine. I 100% see what it is that you're getting at. And I mean, that alone could be some amazing adventure hooks. but they're weird creatures, and I love that they're weird creatures. Oh, really? Now, see, the one thing that I want Wizards to do, and I'm very disappointed that they have not done so yet, but I'm hoping that since they're kind of on this big kick of dragon redesigns, that they will give it to me. Because they are currently, the 2024 rule set has redesigned all of the chromatic dragons and have gone out of their way to try to canonize a lot more of the dragons from the Fizban book, Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, which gave us the quote-unquote official Gem Dragon lore and artwork. I love that because the more dragons in my Dungeons and Dragons game, the more fun I will have. But they also dropped Dragonlance again. So now that there are more things to do, instead of just running around on Toril, you can, go back into the Dragonlance setting. And it got a nice update. There's even more dragons in that setting. So I'm very interested to see what they will wind up doing with all of these new dragons. But there is one that they only mentioned in Fizban, in his book, which was the Chromatic Great Worm, which is essentially the apotheosis of what a chromatic dragon can ever become. They essentially understand that they exist in multiple planes at once. And they understand that, but they decide to call upon their own essence from all of the other planes that they exist on, and they essentially coalesce it into a single form, thus turning them into a chromatic great worm, which gives them the ability to basically rival the size and strength of not just the aspect of, but gives them the ability to rival the actual avatar of Tiamat and Bahamut in scale. And I desperately want them to come out with I want them to come out with a mini of a chromatic great worm. Because that would complete the life cycle of the dragons that I have, because I have ancient size, I have wormling, I have adult, I have young, but I do not have the great worm size, which is the only size, quote-unquote, bigger than ancient. That is what I need them to come out with. And I specifically want them to come out with a chromatic great worm variation because, again, I have a weakness for the quote-unquote more evil dragons because they are, to me, they are just infinitely more interesting. Oh, exactly. That's actually in the Fizban's book. That is actually spoken of, kind of almost exactly as you say there, Ramesine. That these dragons understand, like, to become a chromatic great worm, you have to understand that you were essentially hunting or killing your own essence to feed upon it, to essentially collapse it back into itself to magnify your own power. So a chromatic great worm is evil beyond just standard levels of evil. Like you can sit here and run the alignment chart all you want that, oh, this dragon is evil because it's a tyrant. Welcome in there, Landon. I hope you're doing all right.
Subscribe to your channel for 12 months.
I hope the evening is treating you well. And Cozy, I 100% understand the suffering of trying to survive a heat wave. I'm just very lucky I was able to get my AC fixed before it started getting overly hot. And 12 months? What, has it really already been that long? Wow, okay, so I've been doing this for a whole year now. That is... Gods, where does the time go? 95? Oh, good lord. Yeah, Landon, Cozy, you guys do everything you can to stay cool. If you can, get you, if you have some ice packs, put a small cardboard box on your fan and put those ice packs inside the box on the back of your fan. It'll help kind of push cool air around. Yeah, no, I agree. Even for a couple of days, it gets to the point of just being unbearable, and yeah, no, thank you. Oh, 100%, there, Ramesine. That's because, and that's also the thing is, you're perfectly fine. I'm pretty sure I got what you were saying. But I mean, you literally, like the next time you're over, because I've got Fizzbin sitting here on the table, because of course I was doing some light draconic reading. But yeah, I will happily let you look through that the next time you're over, and see what you make of the fantasy logistics of how a great worm is formed. Oh, wow. No, but unfortunately, that's not just up there where you guys are. Like, today, even though I was only at the warehouse for a short bit, I should have brought my fans with me, because by the time I left, just from, working 9 to 2 today, I was drenched in sweat constantly the entire time I was in there. So I'm going to have to plug up my fans before I go to bed tonight, and we're going to ensure that those are up and running. But just like you guys, we're going from incredibly hot for the first couple of days, and then near the end of the week, we're going back down to, being somewhat comfortable again. I 100% get that reference. Hell yeah, man. But, Landon, since I'm not necessarily too in-depth into the current painting, I guess I will happily showcase to you what has sparked all of this fun conversation. Because as you can see, I am wearing the new cloak that I purchased. And it is fantastic, especially since the house is now a wonderfully cool temperature. But we have